what we're trying to do is show some fire behavior, fire paths. What happens when you exclude, this is our fuel. We're going to burn this up today, so this is our fuel. And what we're going to show is how fire reacts when you take away one of the legs, primarily oxygen, from the fire triangle. It takes, fuel, heat, and oxygen to make it work. So, this house that I built, this room is totally closed off. There's no way a fire can get into this room without burning through the walls. Okay? This is the fire room. This is where the fire is going to be started, as you can see. In between this room and this room, there's an opening where fire can extend into the first floor, all the way across. And hopefully we'll be able to show how fire progression, just even across the first floor, can be affected by oxygen. And on the second floor, we've got an opening that extends from this room up into the second floor. Remember, this second floor building has no access to it. So as it gets going, we'll reach it here and open that up. See how it progresses. I'm really hoping that we're going to be able to put together conditions that simulate a backdraft. And so we're hopefully going to have some really good fire response as this burns a little bit farther. I don't know if you can see it here, but right up here, there's a hole into the attic, which is controlled by another slide that prevents fire from getting up there. And then, of course, we have our roof vents. If our truck companies get orders to take the roof and cut a ventilation hole, this will give us an idea on what is going to take place. So the weather conditions might affect us a little bit because it's so humid, so heavy. So we're going to try it and get it started. Huh? No. No, because once we get this started, each one of these rooms are empty. Okay, this is the only room that we have kindling or anything that can actually start a fire. In other words, the structure becomes the fuel for the fire after we get it going. So we'll get it started. That's one of the main things, but hopefully fire behavior in general is what we're going to be looking at. So if you notice, even right now you can see some fire behavior. May have
Just start.
Mainly keeps growing.
So as we're getting this going, you notice that fire's got all the oxygen it needs to perform, to work, to move. And so as we're waiting for it to build up pretty good, remember we're on film. So as you can see, we've got smoke coming out of both rooms. And again, we've got some other Fort Osage firefighters just showed up. Feel free to toss in some suggestions. This is our first time attempting this process, so it'll be kind of interesting. But when the fire's burning, what happens to the heated air? Heated where the smoke. What happens to that? It goes up. How do you get hot air balloons to rise? Huh? Well, hot air balloons, you know, you heat up the air, you fill up the balloon, it becomes lighter than the air around it. That's what's happening here. You've got a pretty good fire moving. Let's add some more. Just for anybody else, what I also used with this was I used liquid nails around all the compartments, so you have it kind of really tight. It helps it to where it's just going to be, you won't have much outside air. You're going to control it by what's taking place here. So, how's the airflow taking place in this room, Wes, right now? What's happening with the airflow? What's happening with the airflow? This is blocked off, so no airflow is coming out of this door, okay? So what's taking place here? Fire, come on, talk to me. Okay, we've got cold air coming in here to feed the fire. Once it's burning, it's heating up the air where you're having the combustion products coming out the top of the door. So if you took off, you know, you'd feel, put your hand here, it'd be pretty warm coming out of this room. Notice what's taking place. Now you've got flame coming out of the top of that room. Say your first new company, and you vent another window instead of this one. Instead of going into the room that's actually involved, can you see fire coming out of that at all?
Yeah, it's starting to change color too.
A brownish. Do we have flame? Can you guys see flame in there? Is it burning pretty well? You notice also the hotter it's burning, the more freely it's burning, the clearer the smoke is. You don't get a lot of the nasty smoke, so the cleaner burn it becomes. So we've got a pretty good burn going on. You see the smoke coming out the front, flames coming out. Go ahead and get me one of those red. You see any flame coming out into that next room? No, just, yeah, okay. Because I want to protect the outside as much as possible. Do you have any flames still burning? Yeah. Okay. So what's happening now, by closing this door, you've got a total change in the flow path of that fire. Total change in flow path. With this open, the fire's there, 90% of your heat and smoke and gases are coming out this door. Okay, that door. If you close this, it's going to find the way out of the structure. So when you vent it, it's going to come out that other direction. Okay? Is there fire in that room yet? Can you see it, guys? See how different it is? Open this up, you give it plenty of air. That smoke thins out, gets faster. Close it. You're getting some real issues coming out of that other room. We'll open yours first. Open yours first. Heavy smoke, heavy smoke. So we'll open this one. See if it works. Do we have a good burn going on? Can't see. We're trying to make it do it. Wow, we got to put out.
Okay.
Huh?
That was you.
No.
Here, let's just
What's that?
cancel.
That's so cool.
Do you have any flame in that one, guys?
Yeah.
A little bit. Good going, pretty good.
Look how cool.
Now what's happening? You see the flame coming into that other room?
Yeah.
Coming across the ceiling. Coming across the ceiling. Been up.
Cool.
So like I said, this is my first time doing this. It may take a little while to get it. One thing I do want to point out, look what's going on in this upstairs room. Not a thing. So if you keep your doors closed, how many sleep with their bedroom door open? Okay, not a wise idea. Keep that bedroom, I do it, mainly because of the dog. But the whole process is nothing's going on in that room.
Stay there.
We got just a little upstairs. We still have that.
Go home, yeah, white.
See the school pass on fire? So, I mean, you don't have to go up there and check.
There's a fire. There's a fire.
We're going to open up the upstairs like I showed you guys. See what just happened? It's so good. Look at how nasty that smoke is, guys, coming out of that top. Some pretty nasty smoke. You notice we talked about neutral plane yesterday, guys? That's your neutral plane right here. You notice the smoke is going in, and then the smoke's coming out. You can see some of it flipping around. That's not a very good sign. As you give it more oxygen.
Look what's happening here. Yeah, it's sucking it in.
Good shit. Doing good. Good shit. Do we have anything in the bottom?
Yeah.
I'm moving. I don't like the smoke in my face.
Still, in this room, it's relatively clear. You're not having any involvement with that at all.
But if you walk down the stairs, you know.
Wow.
There's your backdraft. You notice what caught fire wasn't the structure, it was the smoke that burned. So you guys realize that the smoke is actually the fuel.
There you
So you can already see a little bit of fire behavior, how oxygen controls whether the fire is going to get worse or whether the fire is going to get better. As professional firefighters, we were always taught that that you vented high as you made entry in below. So actually, you're causing that fire to get worse by adding flame or adding oxygen to the inside of that structure. So you've got that potential when you're dealing with this. Okay. Okay, what we're doing now is we're having our truck company come and give us some vertical ventilation. Try and get some of this out, okay? This big smoke out. So they cut a hole in the roof, and then that's what you get coming out of the structure. But it gives you that backdraft, that explosion. So part of the theory is the new theory is that you keep as much oxygen out of the structure as possible, even to the point that when you make entry, you post somebody at that door to keep that door shut while you're inside to prevent oxygen in there. Sure, you still vent, but not until you have suppression activities on the floor.
Oh, that was awesome. That was close. Small building, you know?
So, what you gotta understand is, open up that second. As And even this, you saw it flash a little bit. Maybe we need a little bit more heat. There you go. Still, the room that is closed up, sure, you've got smoke involvement, but you don't have hardly any. That was your backdraft as you're trying to stand lines into the structure.
That's a full day.
I think I'm the only one that's caught it.
Now look at now. See the dark brown?
Look at that smoke coming out of that top.
So kind of like a tea kettle. Got a lot of pressure to it. There's a lot going on there. A lot of heat built up.
And that's your fuel from the smoke. That's not the structure burning, that's the smoke burning. So,
I don't see a flashover.
go ahead.
Oh, now it's inside. It's inside the house. Did you not see it? Thank you, Seth. Thank you.
Did it? Sweet.
It's in the attic. Oh, I see it.
Oh,
I really should have worn this.
Go ahead and we got some boards. Still, this room is still pretty, it's getting some pretty nasty smoke in it now, but that's partly because the structure is involved, and so we're having the structure burn through the walls that are causing it. Okay.
Alright, come on, bro. I'll be right. Alright, honestly,
Going over here with you, Duval.
There you go. I'm gonna go to the fair.
oh yeah, this one.
Without even making
Any comments, questions? Fort, anything from you guys? I know it's hard to grasp, but I've been doing just a little bit of research with this, and they're talking now to where you don't vent hardly at all until water's been applied to the fire. It's more that you take the window of the involved room, and then you apply water directly into that. In some areas, especially in the European theater, whatever you think about that, they're using fire curtains now. So when they take the front door, the first thing that goes up is a curtain, kind of like, and it has a spring-loaded piece that holds it in place in the door frame, to where it still occludes that oxygen, but you have free flow of your hose being pulled in and out. And they have less opportunity to have fire events like backdraft. So big gap there. Yeah. Coming out that side.
Foundation, that's you.
Foundation's falling apart. So, but I hope you got the thought process of how fire behavior moved and how less fire or less oxygen you have in the going in. You notice what's happening here. All the air is being sucked in, and because we've blown part of our wall apart there, you notice all the flames are going into the structure and probably coming out right over there. This side. Notice what happened. The floor burned through, and then it started in that room. On second thought, guys, that's not the floor, that's the smoke. That's the smoke burning.
Just because there's enough residual heat.
There you go, that's the smoke catching off again in that one room.
Right, that's easy.
Right, for high-rise structures or multiple story structures, this would be what you call auto ignition, where it comes out of the structure and goes up. Why don't you give me a little squirt?
Where are your gloves at?
Do you want mine?
There you go. And again, the smoke is burning. That's burning outside of the structure. Oh, that's
It's a blitz.
probably wouldn't be a wise idea to do it either. Huh? No, it's going right over here. So, if you vent up here, you're going to have a whole heck of a lot of fire down here. If you don't, do something with suppression. Go ahead and give me one shot. Right. Do it again. Look. I thought it'd be. They'll put out the mask. Yeah, I got continuity of our doors. Sorry, guys. We're about done. We're about done.
Air pack days, you just you close your eyes and follow the heat.
So I think you guys get what we're trying to get at. Notice the velocity of what's coming out of that heat vent. You've got to pay attention. That shows you you've got a really hot fire and it's being pushed by the fire down below.
So basically on that line, it's not a heat vent. What happens to a heat vent? The water converts to steam and starts to get pressure. So the faster that smoke is coming out that roof, the more pressure, the more heat you're telling it. And also, when you look at the color, what does brown signify?
We talked about this, remember.
It's what's burning. It's wood. Now, brown smoke is wood. The fuel loading houses today are a lot of synthetics, laminate materials, plastic, a lot of hydrocarbons. They produce black smoke, and they're even more fuel. So when you say smoke is fuel, brown smoke, yeah, it's flammable. But black smoke is just more carbon. Because that material is not being completely combusted.
What do you guys think? Was it worthwhile?
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, that's real good.
But it gives you kind of an idea on fire travel, fire behavior. And again, how you control your vent, what you do with your access to the structure. If you vent too much while you're making entry, you're just going to make that fire hotter, and it's going to cause more issues for you. If there's any way that you can make entry without venting until you actually put some water on the fire, then use vent to help assist with overhaul and rescue. That's probably the best way to do it. So I think we're about done today. So why don't we go ahead and put it out, guys?
Cody, is that a 2.5?
Go ahead. Yeah, let's put it out.
My first thought was if you do it through
I do have Don's church.
Yeah.
That's their training facility? I see that.